Hi everyone, and welcome to Tech Solutions Hub YouTube channel. It's your friend and technology instructor, Tech Wizard, and this channel is passionate about helping people who are blind or visually impaired to live more independent and fulfilling lives through technology by sharing and uploading the latest news and updates on technology for the blind. From time to time, you will be hearing different voices on the channel who will be covering everything from new assistive devices to accessible apps and softwares. These personalities will also be sharing tips and tricks on how to use technology to your advantage. We will be so glad if you can subscribe to the channel. I hope you'll find our videos helpful and informative. Please feel free to leave comments, share the videos, and suggest topics for future videos. Together we can make technology more accessible for everyone.
Hi there, welcome to our YouTube channel, and today we will be discussing about a very important topic, which is setting up your navigation elements on Commentary Screen Reader or G Show Lite or G Show Plus. Depends on how you call it. Now, I am going to be discussing how you can set up your navigation units or your navigation elements on your G Show. First, you must ensure that your G Show is updated to the standard version. You should be using at least that of last year, because places you find these settings differ, they change and they vary in the latest editions of your Commentary Screen Reader. Now, what is navigation elements? What is navigation units? Now, navigation element is the granular mode on your screen reader per swipe, which means navigation element determines the granular mode you want to put your screen reader when you swipe on your screen. Now, it also means that it determines the rate at which you want your screen reader to navigate when you swipe through each content. Or in a layman's language, navigation element is what we used to call character, word, sentences, lines, pages and paragraphs, copying mode in some screen readers like G Show Plus and all of that. Now, a lot of us will like to browse through contents of our screen and we come across a word or a name that we don't know the spelling. What you should do is navigate to character by character in your navigation elements. Now, you have to, in TalkBack, there is a preset navigation element for every TalkBack or Android accessibility user. But in cases of G Show Plus, G Show Lite, and Commentary Screen Reader, it varies. You have to configure your browsing elements to the rate at which you want it. Like, take for instance, I like copying while working on my phone, so I have added copying mode to my list of granular or navigation elements. But some people will not like it, so you can choose not to add it. Now, having understood what is called navigation elements on your screen reader, I would like to take you through how you can configure your navigation elements, each functions for anyone that is complex or ambiguous, and how you can set them up to suit or to please your desire. Now, welcome to a very, very important and enlightening topic. Now, Jishuo has two navigation elements categories. There is the navigation element setup for when you are in your normal screen. It is called the standard browsing element or something. There is another one for when you are browsing online or when you are on your web page. It is called the web browsing navigation element. So I'm going to be taking you through all of them. These are the advantages that Jishuo Plus Jishuo Lite or commentary screen reader has over TalkBack. Now let's delve into the practical section of how you can set up your navigation elements.
Overview. Jishuo Lite.
If you are using a
Jishuo Lite.
later version, an outdated version, please update to the latest. The latest Jishuo Lite is available on our Telegram channel at Tech Solutions Hub. Yes, the description will be added in your YouTube channel. Let's delve into the practical section, like I said. So setting up your Jishuo Plus or Jishuo Lite, you have to navigate to operations settings. So
Web email 946 general settings. TTS settings. Feedback settings. Operation settings. Operation
now
settings.
this is your operation settings, and this has to do with how you operate your phone. And setting up your Jishuo navigation elements is a major determinant in how smooth the operation of your phone is going to be. So to set up your editing mode, I am using the default gesture because of beginners and people who have not set up your standard measurement. Yes, so I'm going to take you on how to do it default. I'm going to take you on where to do it in your your own customized gesture, because some people have customized their gestures in a way that they want it to be. So this is the default. If you have not customized your gesture, this is where you will see your navigation settings, how to set up your navigation elements.
Navigate up button. Operation setting. Gestures default settings. Manage settings related to gesture default
So,
behaviors and options.
This is where you
Gesture scheme custom.
did you hear? Gesture scheme is custom,
Gesture scheme settings custom.
which is
Gesture
no,
scheme.
okay.
Gestures default unchecked.
So I'm going to put it in default, not custom.
Custom checked.
Now
App default
this
unchecked.
is default
Yeah.
Gesture scheme
gesture.
default.
All right. So now
Gestures default settings. Manage settings related to gesture
this is
default
where
behaviors
you
and options.
choose how to manage the settings related to your default. This is where you click.
Gestures default settings.
Then when you click this,
Default navigation gesture style global alternative granularity. Customize standard view element navigation default.
there are
Check boxes.
two
Customize web page
important
element navigation default.
things you
Default
should note
gestures
here.
default settings.
there are two very major settings you have to go through to set up your standard. Like I told you, there are two categories of navigation units. Now this is the first one.
The customize web page element navigation default. Headings,
So-
lists, buttons, combo boxes, characters, words, sentences, paragraphs, pages, copy and mode, TTS rate.
This is the web standard navigation units, and
Customize standard view element navigation default. Buttons, check boxes, list items, focusable elements, characters, words, sentences, pages, copy and mode, media volume, TTS rate.
so this is the standard when you are not on web page. So we are going to take them one by one. Now you click to set up we should start with the standard element navigation unit. So this is
Customize standard view element navigation default. Buttons,
So,
check box,
this is customized standard view
navigation
elements. You
default.
click it,
Customize standard view element navigation.
and I am going to be telling you the functions of everyone.
Customize
Okay.
standard view element navigation.
This is the first one.
Default checked.
Default has to be checked for everybody. You understand? So that when you navigate from one element unit to another, you can switch it back to default. But if you are using the default navigation gesture, that is swipe up and down to navigate from one navigation element to another, because there are various ways to do it. Some will to navigate from one element to the other, some will put it in swipe right, swipe left. That is when you are using a custom gesture. But if you are using the default navigation gesture like this,
TTS rate. Default.
yes, default is not actually compulsory unless you want it that when you swipe down, you want it to be performing a function in the default mode. But if you don't want it that way, if you are not using the default navigation gesture, the default the default gesture for operations, sorry, then the default navigation is important. You have to check it if you are using a customized gesture. So default is checked here,
Just default checked.
and
Labels unchecked.
labels are not checked. Now labels help you to figure out labeled buttons on a particular screen. So for me, I do not need it, so it is unchecked.
Buttons checked.
Buttons are checked. Now buttons will, when you put it in button mode, it picks out all the buttons on your current interface. Like take for instance, you are navigating through WhatsApp and you want to quickly navigate through the buttons like send button, like what else do we have over there? Attach button. So you put it in button, you navigate to buttons elements, and this works for you. So it is checked in my case, but if you do not need it, you can uncheck it.
Text boxes unchecked.
Text boxes are places where you edit. So if you have more than one edit box in a particular interface, like some messenger, like Facebook's, some of them have more than one edit box, and you want to figure out the edit boxes one by one, you can select it to be checked. So in my own case, it is unchecked because I do not need to navigate through more than one edit box at a time. So edit box is not checked.
Images unchecked.
Images help you to select the images, just like characters will pick character by character. So if you put it in image mode, if you select images, which means there will come a time where you might need to select the images in a particular interface. Like when you're on WhatsApp, you want to pick all the images, you want to check them, you want to select them, so you can add images to your navigation selection.
Checkboxes checked.
Now checkboxes will help you to navigate among your checkboxes. Maybe you are marking songs on your file manager and this one tells you checkboxes unchecked. Now you can decide to check it. For me, it is checked, but in some people's cases, if you don't need it, don't check it, so leave it unchecked. Now checkboxes, don't forget that whatever you tick here are the things that are going to be reviewed in your navigation units, like when you move from one navigation element to another. Like I told you, some will scroll up and down if you are using the default gesture. Like me, I am using the default gestures for beginners, so you swipe up and down to navigate through a unit of your navigation, to move through a navigation unit. So
Progress bars unchecked.
progress bars will tell you if you are working on more than one content that are progressing slowly and you want to check the progress bars of all of them, then you need to check this to add it to your navigation units. But for me, it is not checked in my navigation unit because I see it as not compulsory. So these things, whatever you choose here, don't forget, are the things that will be reflecting when you move from one navigation element to the other.
List unchecked.
List is unchecked. List is like a list of tabled items, a list of items. So if you want to navigate through items on your interface, then you should pick lists. You should check it.
List items checked.
List items are like items. There are really no differences between list and list items, just that one is in an itemized format. So you can check this if you like to know the items on your interface.
Focusable elements checked.
Focusable elements are elements that you can focus on. There are focusable and non-focusable elements. Elements that you can click focus on when it comes to character, words, and all of that are focusable elements. So mine is checked. If you want to go through focusable elements, like elements that when you can long press, you can click, you can also carry out some necessities on, they are focusable items. So mine is checked. You can follow my standard. You can choose to check the ones I have checked, and you can hear them clearly as I'm navigating through them. But if you do not understand, you can also ask questions on any of our platforms, on Telegram, on YouTube, and on WhatsApp.
Clickable elements unchecked.
So these are clickable elements. Anything that you can click is a clickable element. So if you want to quickly navigate amongst interfaces on your screen and you want to select the clickable elements, you like doing that, then you should select this.
Scrolling mode unchecked.
Scrolling mode determines your rate of scrolling. So if you do this, if you check this, if you swipe or put your navigation unit on scrolling mode, if you apply it once, it scrolls a page. So in my own case, it is not important, so I have unchecked this.
Vertical navigation unchecked.
Vertical navigation navigates not on a straight line but on a sideways line. So
Characters checked. Vertical navigation
this
unchecked.
is not selected in my own case.
Characters
Now
checked.
characters, when you put this in character, this is compulsory for everyone who likes spelling items on your screen. So if you want to spell a particular item, you know that character is compulsorily checked.
Words checked.
Words, in case of you are editing a sentence or you are going through a mighty article, and you want to check a particular place word by word, then you have to check words.
Sentences checked.
So sentences are checked. That means when you swipe, when your navigation unit is on sentence mode, it will read each sentence. It will read a sentence per swipe. So mine is checked because I like to edit sentences by sentences. So you might choose to add it to your granular editing mode when you are granular navigation mode. Okay.
Paragraphs
Now
unchecked.
paragraphs reads paragraph by paragraph, like if you are reading a very long article that has more than one paragraph. So in my case, it is checked.
Pages checked.
Page scrolls by page. It reads a page per navigation unit. So in my case, it is checked. You can choose to remove it or not add it to your navigation elements.
Copying mode checked.
Copying mode, this is a very important part. Now for me, I like to copy some particular topics or particular contents on your screen, like a link, like a particular text. So copying mode will copy whatever your screen reader says. So if you want to apply this and you are reading a text, all you need to do is to navigate your unit, put your navigation mode in copying mode, and then swipe right if you are using a modified gesture. But if you are not, then you need to swipe up or down. One of these works for copying and the other works for append. Now you might want to ask what append is. If you are copying more than one text, then you swipe down and it says copying mode, and you want to copy the second text after the first one, then you go to the second text and then you put it in your copying element, and then you swipe up instead, and then it does the append thing. You understand? So it copies the second text under the first one. So if you are copying Jada has a glass flask as the first sentence and the quick brown fox jumped over the lazy dog as the second sentence, if you do Jada has a glass flask, you now navigate to the quick brown fox jumped over the lazy dog, then you put it in copying mode and then you append it. Remember, append in copying mode is the opposite of copying. So if you swipe down to do your copy when you are in copying mode, then you should swipe up to do the append when you are in copying mode. So in my case, it is checked, but if you do not like it, you can uncheck it in your standard navigation view navigation elements.
Media volume checked.
So media volume increases or decreases the volume of your music when you are navigating. So if you put this, for those of you who your volume keys are not working properly, all you need to do is to check this, and then you navigate your units, character, word, lines, until you get to media mode, media volume, and then you swipe down to decrease or swipe up to increase.
TTS rate checked.
So TTS rate determines the rate at which your screen reader speaks. If it is too fast, all you need to do, if you check this, is to navigate your navigation unit to your TTS mode and bring it down to reduce, or bring it up to increase the speed of your text to speech.
Operant translation unchecked.
So this translates another language to English. If you check this,
Screen areas unchecked.
If you
Operant
check
translation
this,
unchecked.
this will work for you. Translate, if you reach a particular text and you want to translate it, it is in French, all you need to do is to stay on that text, and then you navigate your unit to translation mode. But if you want to have access to that, then you have to check this
Operant translation unchecked.
OCR translation. So these are the very, very important ones.
Screen areas unchecked.
Screen area is unchecked.
Operant
OCR
translation unchecked.
translation is unchecked for me because I do not like translation.
Cancel button.
And then we have cancel,
OK button.
and we have OK button. So if you are done with these settings and you've reviewed, cross-checked everyone, you think it is okay, then you click on OK
Get
button.
customized standard view element navigation default. Buttons, check boxes, list items, focusable elements, characters,
Now,
words,
moving
customized
to
web page element navigation
customized
default.
web page
Headings,
element
links,
navigation.
buttons, combo.
So
Customized web
this
page
is a
element
little bit
navigation.
different, because what happens when you're on the web is a little bit different from what happens when you're on your standard views. Take for instance, on your web page, you might want to navigate through the links on your current page. Like, take for instance, I am browsing through the federal government's empowerment scheme, and I have to quickly get to About Us link. So all you need to do is to put it in the links. Now let's see the contents in your web browsing.
Default checked.
Default is checked for all of those who have customized gestures, like I told you.
Headings checked.
Headings are checked. Headings, now in your web browsing mode, there is something they call heading. Every link and topics, every links and buttons have a heading they are grouped under. Some web pages do not have headings. This is like a region or landmark. So your headings should be checked if you like navigating through headings by headings.
Links checked.
Links, this is very important. Like I told you, you want to quickly navigate through the contact us, about us, or open menu link. Then you have to check this when you are on your web page. Don't forget that this is only applicable to you when you are browsing on your mobile device while using G Show screen reader, G Show Plus or G Show Lite.
Buttons checked.
Buttons are checked. Now there are some cases when you need to download through buttons, or you need to do some strategic buttons. Now if maybe take for instance you want to download GB WhatsApp, and then you are looking for the download button, then you should check this first in your navigation selection, then so that when you need to navigate through the buttons on your web interface, you can navigate to buttons and be able to get access to the buttons you need to use at that point in time.
Landmarks unchecked.
Landmarks are more or less like headings, but they are advanced forms of headings. Some web pages have regions and landmarks. So like the advertiser regions, like the domain region. So if you like to operate on broad web pages like that, then you should check your landmark in your web standard navigation elements view.
Focusable elements unchecked.
Focusable elements are not checked in my own case, but you might want to know the elements you can long press, you can double click, you can single click. So you should check your focusable elements during web browsing. Don't forget, this is the second part of the speech.
Controls unchecked.
Controls. These are more or less like buttons, but they are a little bit different. They control what a click does on your web page. So control is actually not necessary in my own case, but in your case you might want to check the controls on the web page, like pause, like next media control, like previous media control, especially when you are on YouTube. So you should check your control when you are on the web browser. If you like to control or you watch or view some slides on your web page.
Images unchecked.
Images will select the images labeled and unlabeled on your web page. So in my own case, I do not have anything to do with image. In case of graphics, studying graphics and images on web, especially when your image description is turned on and it is working well, then you should select your images when you want to, because some links do not have a title. So you might want to go through the images. Yeah, so you should check this if you are that kind of person.
Checkboxes unchecked.
Checkboxes are things that you can tick. Tick boxes, maybe when you are filling a survey and you see age 1991 to 1992 checkboxes unchecked, then you should do checkboxes checked in your web elements page, so that you'll be able to navigate the things that you can tick and untick.
Combo boxes checked.
Combo boxes are more or less like drop down menu. Combo boxes, when you click a combo box, it has a list of items in them. So combo boxes in my own case is checked.
Combo boxes checked.
Because you might want to navigate through. Maybe for instance, they told you to fill in your year of date of birth, and then you have the date combo box, the month combo box, and the year combo box. So the date combo box has a list of days from 01 from the 1st to the 30th. So you might want to fill in that kind of thing. You should check your combo boxes so that you can easily identify the combo boxes on your web page.
Forms unchecked.
Forms are like filling items, forms, type mode, where you can type, automatic forms, and all of that. So in my case, it is unchecked. In your case, you can decide to check it. Where your mode, these are the modes. Your web is perhaps in a typeable mode where you can type, or in a mode where you cannot type. Like in some cases, like in JAWS, it is auto mode. So, but you can uncheck this, and you can check this if you like to navigate through your forms, editable forms, and all of that.
List unchecked.
Lists, these are items that these are lists of items. List 1, list 2, list 3, lists, and all of that. So these are lists. You can check and uncheck them if you feel they are necessary for you. Remember, what you tick or check here is going to be navigating. It's going to be reflecting when you are in your web page and you are navigating unit by unit.
List items unchecked.
List items are items inside the list, like list number 1, cream, list number 2, soup, list number 3. Those are items you can, in the web pages, there are also items you can select. So if you select this, list items will be checked. It will be reflecting in your in your web browsing elements.
Scrolling mode unchecked.
Scrolling mode determines page by page. If you want to scroll quickly and all of that, you can check this. So when you navigate to scrolling mode and you swipe down or up, for those using the standard navigation view, it will work well with you.
Views unchecked.
Views, these are also a very important part of web, which I've not really considered to be very important, but you can check it if you like to know views and all of that, while go through your views and some other things on your web pages. So there are a lot of them.
Characters checked.
Characters, you should want to spell a particular web item, then this should be checked.
Words checked.
Words should be checked.
Sentences checked.
So that when you navigate word by word in your elements, in your web browsing element selection, sentences should be checked
Paragraphs
if you
checked.
choose to like it. Paragraphs can also be checked. Perhaps you are reading a long article on the web.
Pages checked.
Pages could be checked or unchecked depending on your choices.
Copying mode checked.
Copying mode, perhaps you want to copy a particular link or a particular text on the web. This should be checked. Remember, the same setting is applicable on your standard element view. So when you put your navigation mode on copying mode, if you swipe down and it does the copying mode, if you're on another item or you want to copy it, add it to the copied text, then you should append it by swiping the opposite direction. So if you swipe down to copy, then you should swipe up to append your notes.
Media volume unchecked.
Media volume increases the volume of your music or your media. Perhaps you are watching a YouTube content and you want to increase the media volume. You can add this to your list of web element navigations.
CTS rate checked.
CTS is when you are reading a text and you think that the web text you are reading, the CTS is reading too fast, then you can add this to your navigation unit. Whatever you add here, when you do the up and down gesture to navigate, it's going to reflect in your either web or standard navigation unit.
Operant translation.
OCR and translation, if you come across a French or Italic translation and you feel you want to translate it with the Jishuo translator, then you should check this.
Screen areas unchecked.
Screen areas are particular areas on the screen. I don't think this is very important. Depends on your usage of Jishuo. So
Cancel button.
this is where you
OK
save
button.
it.
Customize web page
And
element navigation default.
once you
Settings,
clicked on the
links,
OK buttons,
combo boxes.
it
characters,
tells you
words.
what you've checked and unchecked so far. Thank you for viewing and subscribing and liking and taking your time to watch this tutorial. Join us for more content and please share the link for your friends to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Thank you and God bless you.